Minutes before the poll site was set to open at 7 o'clock this morning, they started to have issues. These tests come at a good time, especially after more students just returned to the classroom. This is an oral swab test that you do yourself, and here's how it works. You cough 3 times, then you swab the inside of your mouth for about 20 seconds. And early this morning, we already heard from President Trump. He mentioned that he will work to stop counting the votes that are left to be counted. He even mentioned that he could take this to the Supreme Court. What type of president is there, if any, and what sort of legal options does his party and does he have?
Diane Hodges.
For the past 4 years, Diane Hodges has been one of the voices for TxDOT.
Project is kicking off this week.
But before this, she was the voice for KLBJ News Radio.
Diane Hodges, News Radio, KLBJ.
And by her side,
News Radio 590 KLBJ, good morning,
was Barbara McCarley.
She was my partner in crime.
Co-workers and best friends.
Things can change in an instant.
On February 12th, 2013, as McCarley was heading to a news story, tragedy struck.
We didn't need the story as much as we needed hers.
McCarley was killed in a head-on collision on RM 2222.
Why should we lose somebody with such a light?
McCarley is just one of the 70,000 people killed on Texas roads over the past 20 years. As of October, there have been around 180 deaths in Central Texas just this year alone. That's up 3 more deaths since this time last year.
We were very hopeful that when we were in the midst of the pandemic, that we would actually be able to have a day where we didn't have somebody die on Texas roads. Unfortunately, that didn't happen.
In Austin, Hodges says the #1 contributing factor is speed, an issue transportation officials reported earlier this year when people went on lockdown, started working from home, and traffic dropped off.
If you don't have bumper-to-bumper traffic slowing you down, people are taking advantage of that.
Hodges is urging drivers to pay attention and slow down.
We've got to turn this around. We need to find a way to stop this, because you don't get a chance to say goodbye when somebody dies very suddenly. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
TxDOT reports on average 10 people die on Texas roads each day. Back to you. It's a life in North Austin spent in fear.
Pues fue difícil.
It's been very difficult having to live every day locked up. Yvonne's never been able to have a normal childhood.
Hilda Ramirez and her son Ivan first arrived to the U.S. from Guatemala in late 2014. Barack Obama was president. She sought asylum, but was denied. Hilda says her primary language is Mom, and she had trouble communicating in Spanish at her hearing.
I didn't understand the questions they asked me. They didn't even provide a translator who could speak my native language.
Thanks to the Austin Sanctuary Network, she ended up here at a Presbyterian church in North Austin. And that's where she and Yvonne have been living for the last 4 years.
When Donald Trump became president, it got hard to deal with the threats from the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Department.
Now, with Joe Biden being named president-elect, Hilda is hopeful.
I would ask him to remove my deportation order and let me be free with my son.
Those with the Austin Sanctuary Network say they're ready to work and help the Ramirezes win their freedom.
If we have a President Biden, it's time for the Democrats to fulfill their promises and their debt to immigrants all over the country.
Just because Biden won, it does not mean we will sit back and relax. The fight is not over.